This is episode 191 of Dude and a Monkey. If you're listening to this, you may still be in that weird period between Christmas and New Year where no one knows what day it is. I genuinely had trouble figuring out what day it was until yesterday because I realised I had to be back at work today. This is the Thursday between Christmas and New Year. But we are back. It is 191 of Dude and a Monkey. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I am joined by
Mark Foster. Hello, everybody. I was back on Boxing Day at 8 in the morning.
Fucking brutal.
Yeah, retail for you, mate. Retail for you.
Yeah, I remember those pains, man. When I used to like work in Blockbuster and Sainsbury's and whatnot. Oh my word.
Yeah.
I feel for you. Okay, this week, let's not talk about Christmas and New Year and all that kind of shit because it's all done now. Carrie Fisher's dead. Debbie Reynolds is dead. It's horrible. That is fucking tragic. Plenty of other podcasts are going to be talking about it, but that's horrible. I hope wherever the two are now, I hope they're happy together. Leave it there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you say, there's plenty of other podcasts that are going to eulogize about it. And I just feel like we'd be repeating things that other people have said, and it's not really our thing, really, is it?
Nah, man.
If Steve Martin can get criticised for quite a sweet and nice tweet for to the passing of somebody he knows, I imagine the criticism we could get for some of the shit we'd spelt.
Yeah. Straight up, and also
that Steve Martin thing. That's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no, fuck. Like anyone criticizing that, like go fuck themselves. Like it's, I just fuck off. Pete, I don't know, whatever. And also, R.I.P. George Michael. That was fucking horrible. And yeah, I mean, Christ, that was too young. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, man, that's like kind of scary. Frankly.
And there's also rumours circulating as well today, isn't there? The Queen has died.
Yeah, man, because they said that she had a cold and whatnot, and then...
Yeah, there's rumours circulating that she's died and it will be announced tomorrow. But it all seems a little bit like, in this age, if she died, it'd have got out by now.
Even though, like... The storm of shit that the royal household would give whatever outlet dared release it before they sanctioned it. But yeah, fuck man, that's weird. But yeah, who knows, man? I mean,
I hope it's not, because it's never nice when anyone passes.
No, quite. Anyway, right, fucking hell, that's crazy. Anyway, yeah. Pardon me. We're going to be talking about Passengers this week, which I watched over a week ago.
You did, yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. But Mark watched last night, so hopefully he'll be able to spark my memory on it, to be honest with you. We'll also talk about some what we watched and whatnot. Bit huge. I think we both had good Christmases, solid Christmases.
Yes, we did indeed, yeah.
Yeah. And let's just get on it.
Get on this shit.
Yeah, boy. Any trailers?
The Alien Covenant. That's about it, I think, really, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Bloody hell, of course. Yeah, Alien Covenant. So it dropped on Christmas Day. I literally at 6:45 in the morning on Christmas Day morning watched it on the shitter to be seen. The trailer does not inspire that much confidence, really.
No, it looks like a horror film.
Like a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. There's, like the couple having sex and the alien's tail. Really? Okay, fine.
What I'll say there, it is, right. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. But it doesn't look good either. But you change the font and change the alien design ever so slightly, and don't put it's Ridley Scott, that would just look like a generic released, in March alongside another blockbuster horror.
Yeah.
It just looks a little bit like that, and you kind of look at it going, right, I wish there was more. But I remember us all getting jazzed about Prometheus and then being let down. So maybe we've got a bit of an opposite and a reverse on this.
It'd be nice. I mean, the pictures of Catherine Waterston that came out where she's kind of looking like Ripley. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I like Catherine Waterston. I'm intrigued to see what she does here. I mean, Billy Crudup. Billy Crudup just basically looks like he's going to be officious captain who basically fucks things up for everyone, but he's too proud to admit it until it's too late.
Yeah. It looks very by the numbers, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know, so whatever. Fassbender, there's really, apart from the fact that he's in it, there's nothing there really to get your teeth into. I mean, let's see. It does look like a bit of a retconning of a retcon, where like Ridley Scott was originally saying it's going to be a few films leading up to Alien, and now it looks like no, there is a facehugger and there is an alien in this at the very least. And it's like, okay, well, that's not quite what Prometheus was. Like, it's going to be interesting. Apart from Fassbender, it's going to be interesting to see what the connective tissue between Prometheus and Alien is with this.
And remembering that Fassbender is ageless. So it could be 200 years in the future.
Yeah. No, yeah, quite. No, absolutely. I mean, it's... of course, I'm looking forward to it because I have hope. Am I looking forward to this or Blade Runner 2049 more? To be honest, Blade Runner 2049, because frankly, it's a director with a better track record at the moment. You know, and in Ryan Gosling, I trust, quite frankly. So, I mean, that film is completely ticking my boxes. This one is ticking a few of my boxes, but the poster I was more jazzed for than the trailer.
Yeah, the weird thing is with it, Ridley Scott's been mixed at best recently, and the trailer was adequate. The poster's very nice, but I'm looking at going, do you know what? I'm actually looking forward to it because I'm going in with lowered expectations, whereas Prometheus, I went in with very high expectations and was just bitterly disappointed. But with this, I'm going in going, you know what? If I get 7 out of 10, and if I get the movie that's telling me it's going to be, which is a little bit of a schlocky space horror, I'm fine. That is fine by me. I'll be cool with it.
I don't know. I mean, like Prometheus, man. Literally today, I was having a conversation with a guy I work with about Prometheus. I mean, it was funny. Last week, he just dropped a bomb saying like, "Oh, I quite enjoyed Prometheus." I was like, "Kyle, you and I are going to have a 2.5 hour long chat about this at some point." And it wasn't 2.5 hours, but we had the chat today, and other people were like sticking their oars in as well. And I was just like, why doesn't Charlize Theron duck out the way? Why does it look like it takes place on the exact same planet with a ship that crashes in exactly the same way as L246 or whatever it is, 426? But it's not that planet. You know, I mean, why is there a mural of an alien there where it's very much established that the aliens haven't actually come about yet? Unless now they're going to retcon that actually, hang on a second, these aliens in Prometheus weren't actually the same bloodline or something like that.
They could do, but yeah, I still maintain Prometheus is an incredibly attractive girl who is both stupid and shit in bed.
Yeah, man. I mean, that film is gorgeous. It is such a good-looking film. It's ridiculous how good-looking that film is.
Yeah, it is. It's stunning to look at.
And then it's just the dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah. And you can't even enjoy it.
No, and yet it thinks it's smart. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like Christ, we had that podcast we did at Noel Stack when we did a re-review on the train, and like I direct people to that. It's still on the feed, as is every episode of Dude and the Monkey.
Yes.
By the way, what do we ask you for it? Nothing.
Nothing, and we never will unless we can.
Oh man,
Which we
that No, we won't.
We won't.
Like that Patreon kind of shit, man. Fucking, you'd have to do so much work to justify that. It's just good on podcasts that do
Well,
it,
yeah.
and they give all extra content. Fair play.
I do. I mean, and I'll just because it's going to be nicely. I'll just for 2 quick seconds. I'll just segue onto this a little bit, and then we'll.
Is this the Anfield Wrap?
Yeah, it is. I subscribe to the Anfield Wrap. Now, the Anfield Wrap started as a podcast. It's a Liverpool podcast. It's a football podcast. And it started out, I think, in 2010 or 2011. And it started out as just a weekly thing, and then it became and it was out on a Monday, and it became a weekly where it was out on a Monday, and it was out on a Friday. They have a radio show on City Talk, which is a Liverpool-based radio show. And then I think last year, March of 2015, they launched a subscription service called the Tour Player. It's £5 a month, right? And you get they still do the free podcast, 2 a week, and you also for £5 a month you get access to all the other podcasts they do, and there can be anything from an extra 4 a week to an extra 7 or 8 a week. So you get one called The Pink, which is like which is done like a couple of hours after, or an hour or half an hour after every single Liverpool game. You get one that's a build up to the games. You get one that talks about like a preview to the weekend's fixtures. One that talks about all the weekend's fixtures before. You get a more detailed data analysis, and there's loads out there. Too much even for me to listen to, and I listen to quite a lot of podcasts. And it's a £5 a month, and some dick essentially is downloading them and putting them on another feed and giving them out for free, and advertising that he's giving them out for free and acting all fucking great about it. And it's just a little bit like, and I know a couple of the guys from Twitter and things like that work with the Anfield Wrap, and I've spoken to them, and I know that they do put, to get to the point of where they're at, where they have a subscription service and it's a proper company and they have people employed and they work, it's their living. They've worked damn hard to get to that stage. It's a little bit like, hang on a minute, you're not being clever in fudging the system, because like they did put out on a post explaining it, this isn't a big company. This isn't like, sneakily downloading a copy of, Passengers, for instance, and watching that at home. If you want to do that, do that. A lot of us that listen to this torrent, I'm not going to pretend that I fucking don't. But the other point is, it's not that they cannot lose the money or anything like that, but the point is, if even 30% of the people who have the subscription fees for these people who are putting these out decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go to this, it'll stop existing. It just will. It'll stop existing, because that's all it is there to do. So it's just a little bit like, it is the entitlement of people, it's work for us putting in for this, but we both really enjoy it. That's why we do it. We get no financial gain out of it at all. But it's not the easiest thing to do. If we were to do, let's say, fucking 5 shows a week, even if we were getting paid to do it, it'd be a lot of work. We'd have to go, right, we have to be a little bit more shit up with it. We have to be a little bit more professional with it. We have to do this and do this. And it just seems a little bit of a shame that people are then trying to celebrate being dicks, essentially. And I just, it's a strange thing. I'm backing up my podcasting brethren there.
No, exactly. No, quite. I mean, full disclosure. I mean, I pay for the podcast. You pay for the site.
Yeah.
And it's the arrangement we've come to, and it is what it is. And the podcast is about a tenner a month. That's fine. £2.50 a week, whatever. And
I think the hosting for the site's about £12 a month or something like that. And this year I am hoping my New Year's resolution is to post more on the website. Now that my life has calmed down ever so slightly.
Even though I think we should remove the game section, because I think I've done one post ever, and it's not happening.
I'm going to replace it with a music section so I can review vinyl.
Boom. Go. All right, that's fine. So yeah, I mean yeah. In the end of the day, I think if you've put something out for free, and then you start charging for it, you've got to have a very good reason for doing that.
Yeah.
But if you are putting out something for free, you keep putting something out for free, and you do additional stuff and ask for money for that, fair game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if people don't want to pay for it, fair enough. They don't want to pay for it. I mean, like with Cinerama, I did it one time, and it was to fund the trip to Fright Fest, and I did a lot of Fright Fest coverage, and I did some extra shit for people. And I'll be honest, some of it I wasn't able to fulfill, but I said very publicly, I'm not able to, and it was just like commentaries and stuff and reviews and stuff. And I said, if people wanted their money back, contact me.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just like, I was honest about it. And it was just like one commentary I did with Noel, and my computer ate it, and I felt awful, but you know, it was like, so it was stuff like that. But also, I mean, like, and fair play, a few people just said, look, at the end of the day, you've never asked for money for the podcast before. You want 10, 15 quid, cool, have it. You know, so, and that's been, no one asked for their money back, which was lovely. I had one weird email from a random person giving me shit, calling themselves the Spirit. And, and just like, it was like, now you're asking for money for your podcast, fuck off. And it was like, well, no, it's so I can go to Fright Fest. Yes, partly for me, but also so I can do shit for the podcast.
And it's like, don't give me money, but I'm not going to fuck off.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I think that year, I maybe did like 4 or 5 hours just at Fright Fest with like Noel and Jordan that year. And I did some video stuff. So it's just like, no, I'm not having that. But yeah, and bless them, those guys. I mean, like, they're doing all that work, and then someone else is just putting him up on another feed. I mean, that's fucking, that is just wrong. That is just wrong.
It is the entitlement of some people nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like people complaining that that, I don't know, a certain album isn't on Spotify, or complaining that Netflix hasn't got Iron Man fucking 2 on it, or something it might do, but just complaining, why is it taking so long for Civil War to get on Netflix? Like, just fucking buy it. If you want to see it that much, buy it.
Yeah,
13 quid. Not even that price, probably a tenner to buy on iTunes. Just buy it. You know, tenner is fucking nothing. Buy it. I wanted to watch Spies Like Us the other day. It wasn't on Netflix. It wasn't on Sky. It wasn't on Amazon Prime. Do you know what I did? Fucking bought it. Wanted to watch it. Buy it. That's it.
There you go.
That's it. You know, if it was there, great. If it's not, buy it.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I also torrent stuff, but I bet my iTunes library is bigger than 99% of people out there.
Well, quickly.
Like, legit.
Yeah, how many have you got on iTunes now, then?
All right, hang on. So what? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 57, 60, 63, 66, 69, 72, 75, 78, 81, 84, 87, 90, 93, 96, 99, 102, 105, 108. I'm only on K. 108, 111, 114, 117, 120, 123, 126, 129, 130. Yeah, 132, 135. Yeah, okay. 135, 138, 141, 144, 147, 150, 153, 156, 159, 162, 165, 168, 171, 174, 177, 180, 183, 186, 189, 192, 195, 198, 201, 204, 207, 210, 213, 217.
217.
I got 217 films on iTunes.
See that if that was a Blu-ray collection, you'd look at it and go, "That's a good collection. I've got a lot of Blu-rays." That's what you'd say, wouldn't you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've got 98, so I'm 2 off 100, and I only started collecting really about a year ago. And you know, and I'm loving the idea. I can't wait for the sales, some kind of New Year or January sale to start on iTunes, so I can go right in my head. I know I've got an amount in my head that I can go. That's how much I'm going to spend. But also, you know, how I do it is if I look and see something that's $3.99, I'll go, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm having that. But like just this month, I bought the past couple of weeks Christmas Vacation, $7.99. Happy, get watched 2-3 times every year. That'll get watched. Bought Spies Like Us because do you know what? I wanted to watch Spies Like Us, so I bought it. What else did I buy recently? Bought City Slickers, $5.99. But do you know what? Over the years, I'll get easy enough watching out of it. So
there you go.
Buy it. You know, it's not that much money. You know, yeah, don't fucking buy every film you want to watch on fucking iTunes because it'll be crazy amounts. If you look at it, it's $13.99. Don't buy it. Just watch something else. But fuck, if I want to watch something, I look on iTunes and go, it's $3.99. I'll buy it. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. Tangent.
But absolutely, and I hope those Anfield Rap guys get they get some justice out of that, however it may happen.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on then. So Passengers is directed by Morten Tildum, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Stars Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Sheen, Lawrence Fishburne, and the surely to be Oscar nominated Andy Garcia. That's it, mate. Seriously, right? So basically, Chris Pratt. I'm gonna say it's all spoilers all the time, and it's kind of like the marketing campaign of the film didn't only seem to tell you so much, but then reviews kind of just said what the story was anyway. So
it's not mismarketing, right? To not give out that piece of information that we're about to give out. It's just not. If they gave out that piece of information, it's spoiling the fucking film.
It's weird. Like, the marketing builds it up as being such a twist. There's a reason we woke up. Well, the film starts off with Chris Pratt being the only one woken up who discovers he's basically going to live the rest of his natural life alone on a ship with a bunch of other sleeping people heading to a new world. And he basically says, I need some company, frets about it. He doesn't pick a 60-year-old black woman. He doesn't pick a 6-year-old child. Do you know who he picks? Jennifer Lawrence.
Guys, put out there, right? If I'm Chris Pratt and I'm in that situation, right?
Yes.
Right, and you're in that situation, right? You're going to look at it and you're going to say to yourself, right? Even if you were logically going, right, if he said, I am not going to pick any of these people out. I'm not going to do what he does. But even if you were to go, right, hypothetically, if I was, who would you pick out? Well, straight away, anyone who's going to die within 20 years. So you'd knock them out. You'd knock children out because nobody likes children, right? You'd probably knock dudes out because, let's face it, what happens if you get somebody and they're just a bit of a dick? And guys are more likely to be bit of a dicks than women are because guys are often bigger dicks than women are, right?
Yeah.
So then you go, I'm going to pick out a woman. And then you're not going to pick out an unattractive, to your eyes, so Chris Pratt's eyes within this, you're not going to pick out an unattractive woman because you're going to go, well, hang on a minute. And it's not even for the sense of, you know, I hope I get to fuck this person. It's just, you want something pleasant to look at, so you do that. So, yeah, you probably would pick somebody like Jennifer Lawrence. There is a logic to it. Yes.
There is. Yes.
It is creepy. And it is creepy. But I'm looking at this, if you flipped it the other way, people wouldn't be losing their shit over it as much. It's like, well, of course you pick Jennifer Lawrence. I'd pick fucking Jennifer Lawrence. I would pick Jennifer Lawrence out of what look like a lot of those people. I'd be going, oh, she's a gold class member for a start off, so I get the good coffees and the nice breakfasts, right? She seems quite smart, quite erudite, and she's quite nice to look at. Of course you're going to fucking pick her. The question is, after a year there, did he have a right, in a bit of a twisted mind, to do it? Was a year long enough?
The thing is, I genuinely... Was he drinking when he did it?
He
wasn't. He was drinking when he found her.
Yeah, he just about contemplated and got very close to killing himself, hadn't he?
Yeah, and that's right. And then he's staggering in and he finds her. Yeah,
he falls
okay.
In the bottle, doesn't he?
Seriously, if he was pissed, if he was having this, do I do it, do I not, do I do it, do I not, and he got hammered one night and just did it,
yeah,
I actually think people wouldn't have nearly as much of a problem with it.
No, I can absolutely see what your thing is there. I think it's a strange one, and it's the whole moral dilemma that the film hangs on. It is where you fall on that, and I think that where socially we are at the moment, and the way that the kind of the social structure that we've got at the moment, and the outrage culture we've got at the moment, that has definitely had an impact on people's views and interpretations of whether or not that's rights or wrongs, and it's given to the inability to look at the grey areas of, do you know what? It's all very well and good. You're looking at it and saying, well, you shouldn't have done it. You shouldn't have done it. It's like, do you know what? Probably not. But you sit with only a year's worth of your own company, or yourself and Michael Sheen, the legless barman, which is a wonderful concept. The fact that they've got a legless barman. There's that, but also adding on to that, it's not just that he's on his own for a year. It's he's on his own for the first year of what will be many, many more. What could be 50 years, 60 years going into the future.
Understand that.
And also, you've then got to add on to the fact is that he's just contemplated suicide and realised he can't do that. And so...
It's just, the thing is, like, literally, he only starts having the idea when he notices Jennifer Lawrence and frankly thinks, oh, she's attractive. You know, it's like, if he had been having... I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is, this was a blacklist script, and apparently the original screenplay was actually quite something.
Yeah.
If he had been thinking about it, and then, like, he's like almost like having the conversation you're having, but maybe in a more socially acceptable way, of how to, like, whittle it down to her, then cool. But the way the film plays it out is he's stir crazy.
Yeah.
He nearly kills himself, and then he gets a boner.
Yeah.
And that's that, you know, and I mean, it's either be honest about that and own it, or you need to rework your screenplay. Now, the thing is, it's not even my biggest problem with Passengers. I just found Passengers really dull.
Did you?
Yeah. It's basically, yeah, all right, it's Chris Pratt. He's on his own. So we get the whole, he's on his own, he's scared. Then he kind of realizes, oh, I can enjoy stuff around here. Oh, that's fun. And then he gets depressed again. And then Jennifer Lawrence comes out. And then it's having fun with Jennifer Lawrence doing the same things he was doing beforehand, but with someone. And, oh, how much better is that? And then, she discovers his secret. And then, you know, and it's just the fact that, like, literally. Yeah. And in the real time of the film, about 15, 20 minutes occur between Jennifer Lawrence saying to Lawrence Fishburne, he's basically committed murder. He's robbed my life. And then her falling for him again. And yes, he did a sacrificial deed and all that. I understand that. 20 minutes ago, you were accusing him of murdering you. No. So, and then I don't know. The second half of the film is what's wrong with the ship. Stuff's happening. What's wrong with the ship? And I was almost kind of thinking like, oh, maybe there's some other twist coming. Because in the trailer, there's a reason we woke up. I don't think he says that line in the film.
No, he doesn't.
And so like I was going through the film.
There's a significant amount of retouching in this movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm kind of going through the film thinking maybe there's something else there. And then Lawrence Fishburne turns up and he's been woken up and he's basically Scatman Crothers in The Shining. And it just...
His entry is brilliant. A man shouting, "Who put this tree here?"
Oh no, yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. When Fishburne's on, it's actually quite fun. And when Andy Garcia is on, it's incendiary. But
it's just fucking weird.
I mean, there was obviously more there. It's because he's in the trailer.
He's in the trailer. Yeah.
One shot of Andy Garcia in the film is in the trailer. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I don't know what Andy Garcia's voice was in this movie, because Andy Garcia's voice, it goes more New York or Italian, or sometimes it's a little bit Boston-y, or sometimes it's really high like that. And it's always weird for which Andy Garcia voice you get. And I was thinking, I wonder which Andy Garcia voice I'm going to get.
Hey, who put this fucking forest here?
And then there's not. There's no Andy Garcia voice. I was expecting, forest. Hey.
Yeah, no, yeah, I mean, say something. But, I mean, so that's the thing. I mean, the second half of the film is this kind of mystery, and it's what's causing it. Oh, there's a big floaty CG thing.
Yeah.
I know that's not the point of the film. I know the point of the film is the relationship between the two of them, but I'm not invested enough in it. I'm not. Like, yes, they have a bit of chemistry, I suppose, but as soon as she finds out, it's just I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
It's hard to not have chemistry between people who are Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, because they're both very charismatic people, aren't they?
Yeah.
And if people are as charismatic as that, and when you throw in Michael Sheen into the mix as well, he's
fun. He's fun. I enjoyed Michael Sheen.
Yeah, and what I liked about his character within it is, you keep expecting there to be some kind of glitch within him, and he's got some kind of evil mode in him. But he hasn't. He just is an android/robot, whichever one.
What did you think of the film, by the way?
I enjoyed it, to be honest. I enjoyed my time with it. I suppose maybe if I'd watched it the day it came out.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Maybe it'd have been different, because I would have gone into it with a little bit of higher expectations. But then the fact that it received, quite negative, to be honest, reviews, made me kind of go, all right, well, okay then. There's a lot of sort of negativity around it, but. I've enjoyed the marketing for it, and I enjoy Chris Pratt, and I enjoy Jennifer Lawrence and Michael Sheen. So I'm going in, relatively kind of balanced and still looking forward to it, but a little bit like, right, well, I know that not to expect this to be anywhere near like my top 10, 15, 20. And it isn't anywhere near my top 10, 15, 20. It's nowhere near that. But I did enjoy it enough. I think there's some nice touch in it. I think it's filled with holes. Its morality is questionable in terms of it, but I don't think it's significant enough to get one's panties in a wad about it at all. It's a frothy kind of sci-fi romance film almost. I think it's built a little bit more actiony in the marketing, and a little bit more like there's something else going on, and it essentially it's not. It's just the ship's kind of failing a little bit, which almost feels like they've gone right. That was a bigger story originally, but then once they got Pratt and Lawrence are as big as they are now in terms of they're both bona fide fucking movie stars, it's a little bit like they went, oh, well, actually, we want to focus on this rather than this, there's a line that Jennifer Lawrence does where she says, essentially, we're on a sinking ship, which is what they're on. They're on a sinking ship that's in fucking space. There's that, and I get the idea that there was more consequences possibly originally in the script, and then they thought, we can't. We need to do something. They essentially left it a little bit open, I suppose, to the idea of a possibility of future movies. I think that's kind of there, but I enjoyed my time as much with it, but it's very much fluff, to be honest, is what I'd say on it. It's fun, but if I wanted to, I could rip it to pieces quite easily. And anyone's kind of arguments against it, I don't think I'd be able to put up convincing, well, no, what about this? But it is a little bit like, do you know what? It's not that unimportant, or not trying to say that much that anyone should really get that bothered about it, really.
No, I mean, I'm not het up about it. I mean, there were a lot of think pieces a couple of weeks back when it started screening for critics about it, but it just, I don't think the film does a good enough job in walking a very, very thin tightrope to start with. And it does kind of feel like maybe there were seeds in there. Like, I was listening to the Empire podcast the other day when they were reviewing it, and they were quite favourable. But one of the guys on it was like, I was on the set that day, and there was a really good conversation between them on their first date, and that's not in the film. And it's like, I do wonder if there is a better version out there.
Yeah, that was what I said there. 'Cause it's the thing is, it's just shy of 2 hours long, I think, isn't it? An hour and 50.
Yeah, it's like 116 or something. Yeah.
So let's say, right, out of that hour and 16, let's say you could take out 10 minutes of fluff, really, of froth. You quite easily probably could. You could probably take out 10 minutes out of that movie, and it'd still be exactly the same movie. As with most movies.
Seriously, take out 5 to 10 minutes of between when Jennifer Lawrence finds out and when shit hits the fan in the third act.
Yeah, and you could take out 5 minutes of Pratt wandering around before anyone else wakes up.
Yeah, totally.
So there you go. You've got rid of 10 minutes, so you've knocked it down to, let's say, an hour and 45, right?
Yeah.
You could quite easily, I would reckon, throw another 20, 30 minutes at it of other stuff, of other connective tissue, and other kind of meat at it, and have a better movie. There's clearly more there, so you could quite easily throw that at it. You'd have a better movie. But
I mean, like, Lawrence Fishburne. Literally every scene that Lawrence Fishburne is in is, we've got to explain the third act. We've got to explain the third act. We've got to explain the third act. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. Here's the thing that you need to get into the room to really kick off the final action set piece. I'm dead.
Yeah. And it doesn't take them that long to find it either.
No, it's brilliant. It's like that massive thing. And it's like, we got to find out what's wrong. Yeah. They walk into that room and it's like, well, that big swirling ball of flames, you think that might be what's wrong. It's things like, the thing is, the Lawrence Pratt relationship doesn't work for me, but it's stuff like that I'm more bothered with this film.
Well, it ends up being the actual thing that's wrong with it is a little bit like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer puts on all that weight. That they've just got to vent some poisonous gas. That's it.
Yeah.
And it feels a little bit. It feels a little bit like. Do you not think that him with the mindset he's got and the reason he's going to Homestead 2, do you not think that he would go at a certain point there's something not right here. There's definitely something not right. We need to start looking for what's not fucking right. There must be a way for us to do this. Because he seems to be able to...
That's a really good point.
Very quickly, once he's got access to these rooms, he seems to be able to do everything within them. Essentially, with a little a little drill, a little hand drill. Oh, I think I can bypass this. I'm gonna have to bypass it. All right, is that? I've already done it. I've done it with like a £15 drill. Done. Which, a lot of things can be done with a £15 drill, but it does feel a little bit like with that amount of time and that amount of things, you could have done more.
No, absolutely. I mean, and again, little things like that. Everybody else is nobody's talking about Passengers anymore, and I mean, it's only been out for a week, but it's little things like that. It should have been better, man. It's a Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence stuck on a sinking spaceship together film. That sounds awesome.
Do you not think that they got a little bit caught in between not knowing whether or not to do an adventure film, an action film, a thriller, or a rom-com?
It feels to me like we got Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence for 2 months. This is the only window of availability the two have. Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And then we'll find the film in the editing. That's what it feels like.
I think you're absolutely right there. I think that it was a little bit like they thought, right, Jennifer Lawrence, Chris Pratt, that's 150, 200 million easy anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you know what? I mean, in March, maybe. It might be.
Oh, totally.
But
you released this a week after Rogue One.
Rogue One. It's just not going to happen. And also as well, sci-fi is a hard sell. No matter what happens, sci-fi is a hard sell. It's been proven. There's so many box office fucking gold people who struggle to sell sci-fi. It's why I very much doubt you'll ever see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson do sci-fi. I know he's done it previously because he did do it, but as he is now, Dwayne Johnson, rather than The Rock Dwayne Johnson. Now, I just don't think he would, because he looks at it and goes, do you know what? You don't make money with sci-fi. Occasionally, one does. One just sneaks through. But majoritively, it doesn't cut numbers. Oblivion, Tom Cruise, that didn't make, it made a decent enough money, but it did
okay.
It did okay.
Yeah.
It didn't do any better than okay, though. It's just... obviously Star Wars, but even Star Trek muddles over. Star Wars makes great money, but that's because it's Star fucking Wars. But it was always, through its inception, was a little bit like... When the main fucking talking point for the start of this movie wasn't that it was a blacklist script, wasn't that, anything like that, it was the fact it was you've got Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. Jennifer Lawrence is top billing, and Jennifer Lawrence is getting about double what Chris Pratt is getting. And at the time when it was cast, fair enough. She was a much bigger star than he is. But now they're about probably par.
Well, I don't know about that.
Pratt is an absolute. But look at it. When it was cast, there was the last Hunger Games movie. Who gave a fuck about the last Hunger Games movie when it actually came out? No one. Joy fizzled. He didn't back.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair, but I mean I think to say that Chris Pratt is as big a star as Jennifer Lawrence now is.
I'd say that maybe it's just a little bit. What is it? But he is a movie star now. You look at it.
Well, yeah, he's a movie star. I just don't know whether he's as big as Jennifer Lawrence is all.
I don't know. Guardians and...
Dude, yeah, I mean, Guardians was an ensemble thing and it's a Marvel film. Jurassic World was not sold on Chris Pratt. It was sold on dinosaurs.
It wasn't, but they've still kind of... I think he's become it. Almost by accident.
No, yeah, becoming almost by accident, 100%. I agree with that.
And I think as part of that is it's not more that he's become bigger than Jennifer Lawrence. It's just that Jennifer Lawrence has kind of she's toned everything down a little bit. When you go back a couple of years, she was everywhere, and then post public fucking seeing all of her sex pics, has kind of gone, hang on a minute, I'm going to take myself out of this limelight a little bit. And she's toned everything down. You know, I mean, you have to go back in, 2013, she had a good few movies out, 14, you know, let's be honest, X-Men Apocalypse, she didn't want to be there. That was contractual obligation.
Sure.
And the same with the Hunger Games, by the time it got to the end of it, you know, no one gave a shit. You know,
I haven't even seen the last Hunger Games yet, and I like those films.
Isabel watched it and said it was pretty crap. You know, it does seem a little bit like Jennifer Lawrence has kind of said, you know what, I want to tone down the movie star bits a little bit. And wants to go back to more. What's the next? She's doing the Aronofsky film next, didn't you say?
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah. I might be talking complete fucking bollocks there. So
I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's kind of dying a death as well. I mean, it's done 35 million in the US so far, and that was up to yesterday. So that was a full week, Christmas week, which is huge in the US, and it's done 35 million.
Yeah, it's bomb. Yeah, she's going to be in the next Aronofsky film.
Oh, nice. Well, that would be
Javier Bardem, Michelle Pfeiffer, Don Gleeson, and Ed Harris.
interesting film.
Yeah, isn't it?
I mean,
Brian
like
Gleeson, who's he? Is he Don Gleeson's brother? He is Don Gleeson's brother.
Of course he is. Gleeson's coming out of the woodwork. The production budget's 110 million, so it's probably got to do 250 to 300 to make a profit worldwide.
And it isn't going to do that.
If it's only done 35 million in the US, like it will probably. It will do over 100 million worldwide. Whether it does 200 million worldwide is dicey.
Yeah. What was your screening like in terms of, was it busy or was it quiet?
It was pretty busy, to be fair, but it was literally opening day.
Mine was yesterday at 2 o'clock and it was packed.
That's interesting.
I thought it'd be quite mildly quiet. A few people there, but yeah, it was packed.
I don't know. I mean, like just looking at Tuesday at the American box office, Rogue One 22 million, Sing 17 million, Passengers 5.9 million. Like I don't know, that's kind of brutal.
It is.
Yeah, I'm. Sorry about that. I am. Thank you. I'm definitely shit on it. I thought it was rubbish.
Fine. I can see why many will not get on with it. Is what I'll say there.
God, it's not doing as badly as Assassin's Creed is, though. Jesus.
Is that out in the States?
Yeah. Out the same amount of days. It's done 10 million less. It's done 25 million.
But movies based on games do very well in certain countries.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, well, yeah, true. I don't know. That's interesting. Anyway,
I'm definitely not shit on Passengers.
Yeah, good. I mean, good for you, man. I'm glad it didn't bother you. I mean, you're probably kind of seeing it for what it was. I've always said don't review the film. I want it to be review the film in front of you. But the the film in front of me, I thought was dull and rather derivative. So again, definitely shit.
It's derivative as fuck. I won't disagree on that. Audience 18 votes. Definitely not shit 44%. Touching cloth 22% and shit 34%. So very much a mixed bag.
Fair enough. Okay, so let's do some what we watched. I think the Christmas and New Year stuff I'm generally just gonna kind of like skirt over.
Well, there's one that you watched that I would like to hear more detailed views.
Okay, all right. Well, that's interesting. I mean, we'll do you first, then you tell me what that is.
Yes. Okay. Same way I'll skirt over my Christmas ones because I've spoken about them previously. So Jingle All the Way. We watched that on Christmas Eve, as I always do. It's what I watch once I've got all my Christmas Eve stuff done and I've settled and I've sat down. So I watched Jingle All the Way, and I still think it's a very enjoyable movie. And I can see why many people wouldn't enjoy the movie.
It is a terrifying film.
It is a terrifying film, and it speaks, is what we'll say. Beyond that, I watched the film Air. starring Norman Reedus and Dion Hosanna, is it? I can never remember how to pronounce that.
Jaimon Honsu.
That's the one, yeah. I watched that because it's been floating around on Netflix for ages and I've kind of hovered over it loads, and it was 95 minutes and I wanted to watch something that was about an hour and a half long, so I watched that. I watched it about a week ago and I'll be honest, I can't remember anything that happened.
Nice.
It's alright, but I've completely forgotten it.
Bloody hell, fair play.
So... It wasn't bad, but it can't have had that much of an impact on me because I genuinely can remember virtually nothing about it. And I contemplated not even mentioning that I'd seen it, but then I thought, no, I'll mention that. So, watch it or don't. But if you do watch it, prepare to, like, 3 days later go, I have no idea what happened.
Well, it sounds like I won't be watching it then.
Yep. As I mentioned, I got Spies Like Us on iTunes because I wanted to watch it because I hadn't seen it in a very, very long time. So I rewatched Spies Like Us. I think you've seen Spies Like Us.
I actually haven't.
Have you not? Right, I'll give you a quick synopsis of what happens in Spies Like Us. It stars, which John Landis movie, stars Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. And essentially they are... they're taken into a specialist elite like CIA spy group, but they're taken in to use them as kind of like patsies and decoys for the ones who are actually going to be doing the actual mission. So they keep sending them on like bogus missions to try and get caught or to fumble through things. And as you'd expect, hilarity ensues and they end up accidentally landing on the actual mission that they're supposed to be the decoys for.
Right.
And of course it was made in the 80s, so it's against the Russians, which of course happens, and it's pretty much Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase doing Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase things. So Chevy Chase is constantly trying to winking and looking at women and kind of dancing, and Dan Aykroyd is constantly being smarter than he's supposed to be, but then also being dumber than he actually is.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. You know, you've got cameos from Terry Gilliam and I think Sam Raimi crops up in there and the Coen brothers and people like that just kind of crop up randomly throughout it. Frank Oz is in there as well. And it's a bit of a who's who of that. Bob Hope crops up playing Bob Hope in it.
Who's it directed by?
John Landis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't want to give too much away because I think you'd actually probably quite enjoy it, to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like I would actually. Yeah.
It's ridiculous and it's stupid. If you like Fletch, you'll like this. Is what I'll say.
Might be a good January watch that once we've done our like year end stuff.
Yeah, and you need him just to I don't know, detox a little bit from what are going to be quite a lot of serious movies. It is a good kind of one for that. Another movie that's a good detox from serious movies, and one that I know that you're incredibly fond of, is I watched Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping.
Oh mate, I watched that on Christmas Day.
That's magnificent that you managed to watch a film on Christmas Day.
I watched Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping at 11 o'clock on my iPhone. Like, just like my in-laws were just watching something, and I was like, sod it. I put my AirPods on, and I just watched that in a drunken haze.
Was that your first
and then they
watch?
went. No.
I
I'd
thought
seen it
you
before.
watched it before, yeah.
And like they were just like, we're going to bed now. I was like, yep, cool. I'm watching this. And yeah, I literally watched it Christmas Day night. I fucking love Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping. If you didn't, I'm not going to be happy.
No, I really enjoyed it.
Oh mate,
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what got me about it though. What surprised me about it. There's actually more to it, and there's more story to it, and more kind of depth to it than I ever expected.
Yeah.
I expect it to just be like a series of ridiculousness and vignettes and mishaps and cameos, which is what it is. But running through it, there's an arc. And I kept expecting it to fuck that arc off, but it doesn't. It keeps it, and it's kind of sweet. You know, the main character, Andy Samberg's character, he is an idiot, but he's not a dickhead, which I quite liked. He isn't just a vacuous dickhead. You know, he's just an idiot and a product of the ridiculousness, and it's holding a microscope up to a lot of things of how we overlook a lot of things, etc., and how people can become stars for not actually being that good, just for having a strong, social media presence, and it works for that. But there were no moments that made me, or maybe only one or two moments that made me genuinely laugh out loud, but I chuckled a lot throughout, which was quite nice.
Mate, it treads a fine line between being surreal and being kind of on the edge of where we're going.
Yeah.
That I find both hilarious and disturbing. The whole thing with the dishwasher, whatever it is, they open it up and it starts playing the Connor for Real song. We're not that far away from that, and the whole they launched it on all the kitchen appliances, and it basically took down the national power grid. It kind of feels like that actually could happen in some odd sponsorship deal. I don't know, just some of the lines, like the whole. Oh God, what was it about Mars? Bloody hell, I quoted him WhatsApp as well. But I was watching it.
It was only 10 seconds. It was only like 10 seconds that you're on there, and he goes, "Are you kidding? That's like a third of the way to Mars."
A third of the way to Mars. I mean,
it's not. That made me chuckle. It's the next bit that made me laugh out loud, which was the way that he kind of goes, "No, we've been through this before. That's the name of a band. It's not an actual measurement of time."
Yeah.
It's that kind of moment that's fantastic. I think it's Tim Meadows, isn't it, that plays Harry?
Yeah, Tim Meadows. He is brilliant in it.
Gold.
He's so good.
He's gold in this. When he gives the other rapper shit about and slaps him. And the guy
Hunter
the Hungry.
And
then he wanders off and he kind of goes, "Oh shit, did you see that?" There's great moments like that. The TMZ piss take bits went too far, but still made me laugh.
No, that they go too far and then just keep on going. It just kind of cycles around to being funny again for me. I mean, it does go too far, but it's funny. And then at the end, you've got Michael Bolton, and just incredible thoughts, man. Like, the thing is, that song, Donald Trump's tweets kind of feel like they could be lyrics in that song.
They do, yeah. Wait, he does have you heard the Michael Bolton one he did with Lonely Island?
No, I really want to go back and actually listen to the Lonely Island albums now, because obviously they did all the stuff in this film, and it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean, Humble is.
There's a song he does called Jack Sparrow, where essentially the song is about something else, and then Michael Bolton just keeps singing about, in the background, just singing about Jack Sparrow.
That sounds like gold.
Honestly, after you finish the podcast, just give it a listen, because some of the Lonely Island stuff is a little bit, it's not great, but it's comedy music, so some of it's not fantastic. Some Weird Al Yankovic stuff's not fantastic, but when Lonely Island get it nailed, there's some absolute gold there, and the Jack Sparrow song is fantastic.
Have you been recording?
I am, yes.
Oh, thank fuck for that. My this call recorder doesn't automatically record.
No, I'm recording.
Record calls automatically. I have now ticked for the future. But okay, good stuff. It's a good Touchwood. I think it's a good show as well.
Pop Stars Never Stopping. It's a really, really good watch. A much better watch than I was ever expecting it to be. I thought I'd kind of enjoy it, but I really, really enjoyed it, and it's not as ridiculous as I was expecting, which was nice. It is just quite sweet, actually.
Will very likely be.
Huh?
No, it is. I mean, just him proposing and Seal getting attacked by the wolves and the whole, like, I've been in this kind of situation before. It's, I don't know. It ticks all my boxes, this bloody film. The songs are fucking amazing, and what it has to say is good, but it is very heartfelt, and like you say, it's sweet, and you do kind of want to see them get together, but then it's also got the Daft Punk helmet making that noise for like no reason whatsoever.
Why is it doing that? I don't know. I didn't even know it did it. The beam of light.
It's fucking brilliant.
The fact that everything just goes wrong for him. Yeah, it was. I quite enjoyed it. Other one I watched A Kind of Murder, the film starring Patrick Wilson, Jessica Biel, Haley Bennett, and the always fantastic Eddie Marsan. So very interesting new film. So I'm not gonna go into too much depth because obviously, we are all spoiled all the time, but that's for the main film we review. I don't want to spoil something that's essentially only just come out on VOD that people might want to catch up with. But it's a thriller. It starts off looking very, very stylised, and I thought, ooh, is it just going to be a lot of style over substance? And it treads a line of almost becoming that. But as Patrick Wilson plays an architect who's in a marriage with Jessica Biel, and there's clearly a lot of issues there. He's quite an outgoing and quite seems like quite a fun guy, and she's got problems, we'll say, and he ends up reading. He's an architect, but he also writes short stories at the same time. And to get inspiration for his short stories, he cuts out cutouts from newspapers of sort of crime stories and things like that. And he comes across one that's quite a local one. It's set in the 50s, I think it is set in. And he comes across a story of a woman that was murdered, and he kind of deduces that the woman was murdered by her husband, and that's what's happened. He's killed her off and made it look like it was somebody else, and the husband is played by Eddie Marsan. The detective who is investigating that murder also thinks that Eddie Marsan has killed him. So Patrick Wilson tries to strike up a friendship so he can kind of get an idea of how he did it and whether or not he liked it, to see if that he can kill his wife. And then lo and behold, Patrick Wilson's wife turns up dead in what appears to be a suicide. But because obviously Patrick Wilson's character has been looking into the idea of killing her and making it look like somebody else has, or making it look like an accident, he seems very, very guilty. Also adding that the fact that his wife was convinced that he was having an affair with Haley Bennett's character, and he wasn't, but then he might have been, but now he is in a relationship with her since his wife died. It all starts looking quite bad for him in that. But it's 95 minutes long. If it was, again, as I say quite often, if it was a little bit longer, it'd lose a lot of its charm. But it isn't. It's the right kind of length. It'll be on Netflix in a couple of months. I will guarantee it.
Yeah, sounds it.
But it'll be a solid Tuesday or Thursday night Netflix watch. I really quite enjoyed it. It looks nice. The acting in it's very good. The story's good enough. It gets a little bit kind of chasey towards the end, but it's Patrick Wilson and Eddie Marsan. They're always good, both of them. Eddie Marsan plays very creepy, and he plays it very, very well. So yeah, I will. When it arrives on Netflix or whatever, it's a very mild recommend to people.
Very nice.
And my final one is one of your Christmas watches. So I'm going to let you take that.
Oh, what
first.
was it?
It's a film that genuinely is in my top 10 films of all time.
Okay, and I haven't seen before.
And you hadn't seen before, and then you watched it, and honestly, I'm not joking. I hadn't noticed because I worked essentially the Christmas week. I was basically at work, like more than I was at home. And I'm not just saying that. Genuinely, in the hours I was at work, I was working more hours than I was at home, and that includes sleeping. So I missed everything between like Tuesday and Friday, and then I had Christmas Eve off. And we were watching, as we do every year, me and Becky always watch It's a Wonderful Life. And I mentioned and said, do you know what? I really hope Ian's watched it this year, because if not, he's have to wait another fucking year to watch it. And I want to know, I want him to experience it. It wasn't actually I didn't want that I wanted you to watch it. I wanted you to watch it because I thought I wanted to experience this fantastic movie. And Beck said, "Oh, he's watched it." I was like, "Oh, fuck it, right." So literally, Christmas Eve, I darted to your letterbox just to see it and thought, "Oh Christ, if he didn't like it, I'm gonna have to drive to Cardiff and I'm gonna have to punch him in the balls."
Nice.
And then looked at it and I read your words and I was like, yes. I am so glad that you enjoyed it. But I'll let you go and I'll let you do it as one of yours, and I'll just interject at bits.
Yeah, so I mean, it is brilliant, isn't it? I mean, the thing is, the length has always put me off.
Yes,
because it is really long. Yeah, I mean, it's almost 2.5, and it's so. I had to kind of set myself up for that, and I was kind of planning on watching it in 2 parts, but I ended up watching the whole thing at once. And yeah, I mean, it's great. It's really fucking good. It's got one of cinema's biggest bastards, Mr. Potter. I mean, he's horrendous, but I like the fact that you never get a comeuppance scene.
No.
Like, I think that's really interesting, that what he does is genuinely horrific. And like the way he kind of reacts afterwards. I mean, the scene with James Stewart where he's kind of begging and then he just chews him out. The fact there's no comeuppance there, it kind of like, it's got that sweet tang of that's kind of what would happen in real life. He wouldn't have a realization and come to see the error of his ways. It's just the people around him who are good come out for him, which is wonderful. But what I thought was interesting was the fact that it's only like the last 40 minutes or so that are directly kind of Christmas and New Year related, and the rest of it is seeing how he's got to this place. But I mean, just the whole melancholy undercurrent of him being almost trapped in the small town. And the fact that the way it builds up, that once he gets to the point of nearly killing himself, it's not just because of this event, which is genuinely traumatic, but because you've spent so much time with him and how life has not gotten in the way, because he's been happy to do what has happened, but it stopped him from doing these little things, and how that kind of builds up through the film. It creates so much more meaning there in the end. And when Clarence shows him what would have happened if he wasn't around, you genuinely do get a sense of not just these are things that would have happened, but you know, because you've seen it before and you know what he was like and you know what his spirit around the town has done. And I mean, I got very much Back to the Future Part 2 vibes from it all, and the almost Trump land kind of aspect that you find now, where it's Pottersville or whether it ends up being called a Potterstown. But it's got that Frank Capra way of not of showing this stuff and not hiding from it, but doing it in a weird sugar-coated kind of way, which just takes the edge off ever so slightly, so that it's not misery porn.
Yeah, it's staggering that this movie is 70 years old.
Oh my god, yeah,
And
no, absolutely.
It still feels relevant, and it doesn't feel like it's a dated story, and it's still doing things that even if somebody did it now, it will be considered original and innovative, and it's like, no, the fucking hell, people have been innovating for over 100 years in cinema, and it isn't, the fact that it opens up. The opening of the film is a bunch of stars talking to each other because they're angels, and stars are angels.
I didn't know that's what the start was. It was,
and it's just you don't expect that for a movie that's 70 years old. You expect more buttoned down collar and things like that, and they aren't. There are these movies you out there. It's incredible. The whole story of It's Wonderful Life, how it was a bomb. It was badly reviewed. It didn't make money. It found its audience on cable 20 odd years later, and it became a Christmas staple. It's grown, like something like Shawshank Redemption grew, or fucking. What's it? Donnie Darko crew. You could call It's a Wonderful Life a cult classic because it wasn't appreciated at the time. It took its time to become revered as one of the great defining, not just Christmas movies, but movies of its time. And there's a chilling shot in it where the realization of what's going on hits Jimmy Stewart when he runs out from the house that's now dilapidated, and he still can't quite work out what's going on. It's towards the end, and you get that close up of Jimmy Stewart's face, and he just turns round with this look of absolute horror of I don't know what to do. There's moments like that, but like you said, it's quite interesting the fact that you said you were going to watch it in 2 bits, but then didn't watch it all in 1 bit. It's just because it's that good.
I don't know. I almost turned it off at the start of the you're going to see now why he's got to this place. He's going to have a really, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but he's just about to have a really bad day. And I almost turned it off there. I was like, no, I'll just watch it. And then from there I was like, right, I need to see how this pans out because I need to see that he's going to be all right.
Mm.
I don't want to go to bed with like this house. I mean, obviously I knew the end was every time a bell rings an angel gets its wings, but it was just, how is it going to resolve itself? I need to know how it resolves itself. And I ended up watching it for like the next 40, 45 minutes or however long it is. It's as good as they say it is.
Good. And genuinely, I was delighted that you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, lovely film.
Cool. Right, what else have you been watching?
Okay, so basically the Christmas films, I think I'm just going to mention by name, frankly. Krampus, Elf, Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, Love Actually, Muppet Christmas Carol, Die Hard. So nice. I think I pretty much got through everything I wanted to there, really. So Star Trek Beyond, rewatch that. It's very good. I really like Star Trek Beyond. I really, really like it. It just feels like everybody's hanging out, and there's a bit of an adventure there. I find it quite relaxing, to be honest. Even though there's a lot of action going on, I don't know.
I can see that. I probably enjoyed it when we watched it.
Yeah. So Star Trek Beyond. It's one of my favourite blockbusters of the year. Okay. Yeah. David Brent, Life on the Road. A fucking awful film. Awful. It's really depressing on a number of levels. It's not funny in the slightest. I mean, it's weird that Ricky Gervais still thinks that it's funny. I mean, he thinks of himself as this progressive force for good who's cynical and he's constantly pointing out this stuff. But then at the same time, he wants us to love a guy who like actually calls a black friend of his into work because he's having a meeting with an HR person in work, and people are saying, "Oh, she's saying that people find his humor sexist or racist or whatever." He was like, "Well, I've got a surprise for you." Calls in his black friend. Yeah, love that guy. Oh, he's a soft-hearted guy, really, isn't he? No, he's a prick. And the thing is, the film for the first hour and a quarter is people around him going, "He's a dick. I hate him. I've never been more embarrassed than I am in my life playing in a session band with him. This is awful." Then towards the end of the film, "Oh, do you know, it hasn't been that bad, really. Nah, he's all right." Literally, in the film, 5 minutes before people are saying this, there is a scene where he pays them to have a drink with him. And then it's, do you know what? He's not that bad. He's a fucking bellend, and you wouldn't want to be like closer than 3 foot from him at all times.
Yeah.
He's fucking horrible. And there's a woman who works in the office that he works in now who's pining after him, who just no. She's not supposed. She's basically been cast as the average looking woman who thinks he's sweet. And it's like, no, Ricky Gervais, like a man of your build and David Brent's sense of everything does not deserve a woman like that. That's a bad Ricky Gervais. It feels like going back to the well and dredging up tainted water. Like Stephen Merchant wasn't involved in this whatsoever, and I do wonder. It's like when Simon Pegg writes stuff without Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright, yeah.
He co-wrote Star Trek Beyond, though, so maybe either Doug Young, who it looks like he's co-writing the next one with as well, maybe he manages to write a ship, and maybe Edgar Wright does as well. But it feels like that, and with this, it's he's a fucking bellend, isn't he? Oh, he is such a twat. He's actually a bit offensive, isn't he? Yeah, but you know what? He's lovable. And no, he's not. No, he's not. The whole thing is really depressing, and it paints office culture to be horrible. And I quite like my office, and maybe I'm lucky, but I like the people I work with. They're all right. You know, I don't hate anyone there. It's so I like I say, maybe I'm lucky, but I don't. This office, it's bellends and people who are meek, but then they have that one moment of courage where they say, "Do you know what? You're not very nice. You stop doing that." And it's Ricky Gervais talking down to people. And to be honest, like the last 10 years or so, he has been in America and he earns more. He's got more money than most people will earn in their lifetimes. And it does feel like there's a disconnect there. And, he's going back to this. Like, I mean, when was the last time Ricky Gervais actually was in an actual office?
Yeah.
But, I mean, genuinely, I'd love to know. And it feels like a guy who was out of touch with this stuff, going back to a well he doesn't actually have to go back to, because he seems to be doing okay somehow, because Special Correspondence was a bit shit as well. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It feels like he's struggling for relevance, even though he still seems to be quite relevant. It's really weird. It's fucking awful, though. I mean, it's not a film. It's a film as much as I am an athlete. I go to the gym, but I don't say I'm going to run a fucking marathon.
I honestly, I don't get the Ricky Gervais thing. I've never got it. I don't get the appeal with it at all. I've seen interviews with him, and he seems quite he seems quite, what is it? I don't get his. I could never get on with The Office. I couldn't get on with Extras. I can't get on with any of his characters at all.
Fair enough. Yeah, sure.
But I don't mind listening to him. It's just weird like that. I just don't get on with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'll be talking about it because it'll be in my bottom 5, like, guaranteed. So there you go. Okay, I watched Shrew's Nest, which is another film on Shudder. It's a lot better than the fucking Corpse of Anna Fritz, which I talked about on the last show, or the one before that. Directed by Esteban Roel and Juanfer Andres. So basically, this is set in Spain in the 1950s. So basically, you've got an agoraphobic woman in this apartment who lives with her sister. And one day, this neighbour falls down the stairs, and the agoraphobic woman finds him, like, at the bottom of the stairs, and basically miseries him.
Oh.
Except her sister is there as well, so she's kind of trying to deal with her sister starting to have feelings for this guy, while also she's having kind of like in her head visions of her father talking to her, trying to like basically like cajoling her into doing basically bad things. He's like the devil on her shoulder, while all the time she just basically goes mental in this apartment. It's pretty good, actually. Macarena Gomez stars as the in the lead role as the agoraphobic woman, and she's great. By the end of the film, when she's basically gone full tilt, you're kind of like scared by what she's going to do, but you also feel sorry for her because they spend a lot of time on her psychological torment and how she's gotten to this place. So it's not just mad woman is mad. It's a lifetime of basically kind of like abuse and self-hating, which has built her to this point. And it's just this incident kind of snaps her. There's some gore in the film, which kind of feels at odds with the tone. It almost feels like it was made for the Fright Fest audience to cheer when it happens, but it doesn't quite. Yeah, but it doesn't quite work for the tone of the piece. But I mean, the prosthetic effects are well done. The sister who has the relationship with the guy doesn't get as much screen time, and she's a bit plainer, frankly. I would have rather spent more time with Macarena Gomez because she's both upsetting and kind of fun to watch in her kind of like mad woman kind of mode. But yeah, I mean, if you've got Shudder, it's more than worth an hour and a half of your time.
Nice.
Yeah, and it got a bit of a twist in the tail as well, which is rather upsetting. So worth having a crack at that. I rewatched Everybody Wants Some. I think it went down slightly for me on a rewatch, slightly. But I don't know. It does kind of feel like it's Linklater regressing slightly. But I mean, then again, I thought Boyhood wasn't quite all that either. So
I enjoyed Boyhood when I watched it. Bex keeps saying that she wouldn't mind watching it, and I keep thinking, do I really want to watch another 3 hours of that?
Boyhood's good, man. It's just the guy who plays the drunk dad gives one of the worst bloody performances in an Oscar film I think I've ever seen. Like, he's fucking, like, really, he's terrible. But yeah, Everybody Wants Some. It's a really good hanging out film, but it doesn't really have all that much to say. It's just really entertaining when it's on.
Yeah.
And lastly, Ballerina, which is a kids' film which is daring to go up against the might of Rogue One. Lottie and I saw it yesterday. There were 2 other people in the audience, and Lottie was dancing around at the front of the screen at the end of it, so it worked for her. Dane DeHaan plays this really, like, aggressively energetic, like, love interest who is also this inventor. And Dane DeHaan has never sounded more awake. It's really weird. I didn't know it was him until the credits at the end. It was like, fuck off, really? Like, if he had that much life in a film, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. It's actually quite fun. It's quite charming. Runtime doesn't take the piss. The ending is the ballerina being chased by the aggrieved mother of another ballerina chasing her with a sledgehammer, which is quite unexpected. And it's a you. But okay. It's fun. I had a good time with it. The dancing sequences are nice. It's got a good little message in it. Lottie very much enjoyed it. So there you go. And that's gonna do it for me. And it's me just doing the ship. Any Twitter questions?
We haven't actually got any Twitter questions this week, no.
Motherfuckers. Okay. All right then. Well, we'll be back next week then. We're going to be doing Silence, I assume.
Yes, very much looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to Assassin's Creed this weekend or anything, so it will be Silence. So yeah, Silence this... Fucking hell, yes, Silence this week, and then there's kind of nothing out next week, because everything that's out on New Year's Day is kind of catering for the Friday after as well, so...
But
I don't know, man.
There's a but here. But I kind of don't want to do the NEA show until La La Land's come out.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think we've already said mid-January is going to be... I've got a feeling mid-January we might do 2 shows in a week or something.
Yeah, I think that'll be the plan. We'll probably do a review show, something like La La Land, and then record the NDA show later.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, because Manchester by the Sea's out that week as well, so I think that's going to make sense. Even though, man, Cineworld, God, I wish you had a Cineworld near you.
I was talking about this the other day, yeah. I was saying, I would literally I would go on, because I'm working New Year's Day, I would go New Year's Day after I finish work, Silence, and then on the 2nd I'd go and watch Assassin's Creed, and on the 3rd I'd go and watch Monster Calls.
Oh, fuck yeah, Monster Calls, bloody hell. I mean, oh, fuck. If we do Silence next week, so I don't think I'm going to get to Assassin's Creed next week, and then do you want to maybe do Assassin's Creed the week after?
Yeah, that's a good plan, actually, that. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
all right, let's do that then. Let's do that then. And then La La Land, Manchester by the Sea, and year-end stuff the week after that.
Yeah, and of course we have the new show as well coming out.
Yeah, no, quite. So we got the new, we got Playing It Forward, the week between Assassin's Creed and the year-end stuff then, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, which will be good fun.
Oh, fuck me, man. We're going to have to do some scheduling. All right. Anyway, we'll sort it out, but I'm rather desperate for a week, so I'm going to say that's episode 91. DudeTheMonkey.com, at DudeTheMonkey, at Ian Loring, at DudeFoz. Anything else to say, Mark?
No, thank you very much for listening, guys, and Happy New Year, and we shall speak to you in 2017.
With silence.
Cool.